Okay, thank you for noticing, Vinny. Cleaned it up, took it all off. Guy even shaped up the face a little. Whatever, let's get going. Hey guys, today on It's Alive, we're gonna be making a little bit of miso. I've made it before several times, and it does require a little bit of time.
Is the episode gonna air like 2 years from now?
Well, funny you ask. You're kind of blowing the secret for us, all right?
Sorry.
But I have some nice ones set up that I started a year ago that have been aging for a year.
This whole show is a lie!
Traditionally, miso is made from soybeans, but you can pretty much miso. I think you can miso just about anything. I know those guys over at Momofuku, David Chang and all. They have a line of misos where it's like all soy. You can do, chickpeas. You can do. People have done corn. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can miso just about anything. Miso you, Vinny. So what I did is I had some soybeans, 1 part soybean, 1 part chickpea, 1 part Great Northern beans. So I cooked those all here. So it's I got a total of 4 cups of beans that I added to 10 cups of water. The next ingredient in the miso is Koji. Koji is a rice grain that is inoculated with a mold. So it's pretty much just covered in a mold. You can get this on Amazon.com or a Japanese supermarket if you're lucky enough to have one. We got one here in New York called Sunrise. It's wonderful. Check it out if you haven't been and you're in the area. And then I got 20 grams of salt. Check this out, Vinny. I got the good salt too, babe. There's only there's 3 ingredients in here. You might as well splurge a little, get some good ingredients. So we cook those, and then now I'm going to strain them. But we got to reserve the liquid because the liquid's going to go into the miso making process. Whew. That was good, right? So I got about 4.5 cups of water. Of the bean cooking liquid. I'm gonna need 4 cups. So that worked out great. Next move is our beans. Let me go get a big bowl, all right, Vinny? Hold on. And see, we're gonna mash these beans up. So I like to get one with a little bit of a flat bottom, just like. Temperature is important. So you don't want your beans to get cold, but you don't want them too hot. So I'm gonna stick that in there. We're at 140 degrees. You can't add the Koji until 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna place our cooking liquid in the fridge. All right, we're just gonna let that chill a little bit, all right, buddy? Oh, God. So here's our beans, nice and cooked, all right? Nice clean hands, you want nice clean hands. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna mash these up. You don't need to pulverize it into a complete mushy paste. You can, I've done that, it works fine, but I like to leave a little bit of texture to it too. Not a lot, but a little bit. So like I said, we're going to be making a red miso. So that's going to age for, you can go, minimum 6 months, but up to 2 years. Some people go even 4 years. So I'm going to keep mashing. You in here, bud? Put that thing on Zoom. I kind of like it a little silky, a little smooth, not a ton of texture, but that's completely up to you. It's not going to affect the process, it's just going to affect the texture, the final texture of your product. Ooh, Vinny, I'm having a little bit of a flashback. Oh, you know what that smells like, bud? Remember that time we made beer over at the old Suarez family brewery? Check out the episode. It smells just like that spent mash that we drained out. Remember I said it'd be nice, and I stuck my face in it? Oh, by no means is that underrated. Anyway, let me see what this is at. Wow, we dropped about 20 degrees just in the mashing process. So we're at 115. I'm going to throw this into the fridge here. In the meantime, Vinny, while that comes to temperature, let's talk about what we're going to put it in. I got this here nice crock, little fermenting crock, pretty nice. Check it out. At Boston Potter hooked me up with this little fermenting crock that he makes, and today we're going to fill it up with miso. So you want to get something that's non-reactive. It's not going to, have a negative corrosion effect when it's, because a decent amount of salt. Excuse me. I washed it before with a little white vinegar, distilled white vinegar, and then just rinse it out with a little water. Now we just got to wait for that to come to temp, Vinny. Where are we at? 98 degrees, that's fine, because the cooking bean liquid is a little bit warmer. By the time we mix it, it's going to be perfect. All right, Vinny, you got nothing to worry about. All right, so we got our mashed up beans, okay? We're going to add 4 cups of water total, or the bean cooking water. What do we got here? Or we're at about 4.5, so I'll leave a little bit. I'm gonna add just a little bit now just to get it so I can mix it up a little easier. Okay? We're gonna add all 18 grams of salt. So I'm just gonna add a little bit too here now. Get that in there nice. And then just start to mix it up. And it's an interesting, we get 2 bird. Claire, you all right? All right. Little bonus for you guys. In the miso making process, there's a byproduct, which is essentially tamari, which is a gluten-free soy sauce. So we add these beans, there's water in it, there's salt in it, and there's the beans and the koji. And over time, we'll get to that. Stay with me here, Vinny. That's why I never did good in school, you know? Teachers talking about something, reading something, and I'm in there bouncing off the walls, staring at freaking squirrels in the trees, you know? And now we're gonna add the koji. And this was 5 cups of koji. Mix that right in. I'm gonna do it in little batches here. Now I'm gonna put on some gloves and do this by hand, all right, Vinny? Oh. Whoa, Jesus, Vin. That's a new angle, pal. Nice to meet you. Now, if you wanted a much smoother miso at the end, you could take those koji granulars, put them in like a Vitamix or something, and buzz it into a powder. But that's not what we're doing this time. I'm sure there's a bunch of guys already making your own miso out there and stuff. I'd love to hear what you've misoed. All right, Vinny? Make miso out of you, Vinny. Say that already? All right, so now we're going to pack it into the crock, Vinny. Remember we reserved 2 tablespoons of salt? Take 1 tablespoon, you have to measure it just by eye, half of this, and you want to coat the bottom of your crock. What this does, I believe, is just help, prevent any kind of molds or anything forming on the bottom. Might also help in the drawing out of liquid. And then reserve some to coat the top too, but we'll get there. So you want to pack that down nice. Now I do have a decent amount left over. I have a smaller crock vessel I'll fill up. Like I said, it takes a year, so there's no point in doing a cup of it, you know what I mean? I'll save this, I'll do this later. Oh, you're back. Okay, let's get an internal temperature real quick. All right, well, it's dropping. When we went in there, it was about 102 degrees, actually. But you're shooting for, you want to be as close to 100 degrees as possible. That temperature is like a real happy spot for the koji, and that heat will start to activate fermentation, which is good. So what I like to do is I take a piece of cardboard, okay, do a little trace, all right, then we're going to go ahead and cut that out. I got this little razor here, careful. You can really cut the hell out of yourself with this thing. Trust me, I've done it. One time I was cutting a piece of plexiglass. Previous life, I was a glazer. Not a great one, but I did it for a few years. I was cutting a piece of plexiglass and I was holding it or something and it slipped and it went, brand new razor. I just put the thing in. It went like this. Look, you can still see the scar. You see that line right there, Vinny? This has nothing to do with miso. 15 stitches right down to the bone. Freaking terrible. All right. So don't do that. Pop that right out. Look at that, huh? You place this in here. And that's going to be our lid. And then we got to do a little piece of parchment, too. Check this out, Vinny. Trace that right like that, right with the knife. We're going right with the knife. Voila. Parchment, all right? Now, that remaining tablespoon of salt, you just want to go ahead and sprinkle that right on there. And that acts as a nice little protective barrier too. If you find little pieces of mold, it can be white mold or a little bit of green mold, you can just scrape that off. It's fine. Put a little more salt on. Black mold, no good, okay? You might want to, that's no good. You might want to start over. Here's my nice little bop. Oh, look how good that fits, Vinny. Get in there. And then now we're going to put this on, which is our major seal topper, okay? And that gets pushed right in like that, okay? What I have here is some stainless steel ball bearings. Okay, I found these, thousands of them. No, they're not Claire's. I found them. Yeah, I found them at the World Trade Center. Carla remembers. There was buckets of them. They were going to throw them away. We ended up perfect for pie weights, actually. But back to the miso. So what you want to do, you want to weigh it down. And that will help push out the liquid. It starts off giving off a lot because there's a lot of moisture, but as it dries out, it'll excrete less and less soy sauce until nothing is coming out. 12.6, Vinny. Is it the 6th? 12.7, Vin. Miso medley, because we used 3 different types of beans. So yeah, we're gonna put this over in the fermentation station over there, and we'll check back in a week. Oh, one last tip. In the young stages of miso, I like to put it in on like a little sheet tray or in like a little vessel in case you have a little overflow. You know what I mean? But come back in a week. Oh, Benny, after you. Get in there. Don't touch nothing. What did we come in here for? All right. So it was a week ago we set up our miso paste, and now it's been 1 week. That liquid, I'm going to strain it off into a little vessel, and we're gonna reserve that. I wish you could help me sometimes, Vinny. Look at that. They don't teach you that in culinary school. Eventually, it will stop producing as much liquid. It will continue for a while, but that's how much soy sauce came off in 1 week, and I spilt probably another quarter cup on the floor, on the table there. I put the little lids back on, so the weights go back on. Maybe we'll do something real fun real quick, Vinny. Just see what the internal temperature is in there. 68? 68 and a half? Oh, that was pointless. I'm going to go back and put these back into the fermentation station over here. Let them hang out for, another 11 and a half months. And now we're going to do a little magic here. Drum roll, please. The swap of all swaps, Vinny. The 1 year, okay? I set these up 224. I think this might just be soybeans. Regardless, it's the same. You'll get the same outcome. So that was still very gold, still very, the color was still very blonde. This is the tamari that we drained off the 1 week old miso. As time goes by, gradually it starts to get darker. It starts real blonde, and eventually the soy sauce looks the same color as that in there. This is the tamari from these vessels. There was a lot more of it. I've been using it, gave some to some friends. And what I do is I collect it and just keep adding it to the same jar. Sometimes once I get to the real late aging of it, and it just starts to give off that real dark molasses kind of miso soy sauce, I reserve a little bit of that separate just because it's like real special. Put that on a little bit of like raw fish or just on some rice or something. It's pretty special. It's nothing like any of the soy sauces that you're buying in a store. I can go ahead and decant this, take it out of the vessel in case you don't know what that means, Vinny. And look, you can see that on the edge, that's how dark that miso, the soy sauce comes out. But here's just the straight miso paste. Some real nice ways to use miso. Obviously, a real easy thing is miso soup. Make a nice little dashi, which is bonito flakes and some kombu, some water, just kind of steep. Look that up if you want to do it. And then you can add your own little miso and some seaweed. Really easy, really comforting, delicious. You can add it to dressings and marinades. It like breaks down and dissolves into liquids pretty well. Do some nice real like black cod or some halibut, a nice white fish. It's a great way to add a little extra depth of flavor. I mean, sometimes I even like to just take a tablespoon of it, drop it in a braise, and just let it melt into there. Once I take it out of this vessel, I usually just pack it into either like, pint containers or ball jars or something. What I do, when you go get the little miso from the super's market, and it has that little kind of like topper that's on there, it's got that little paper thing, I store it like that too. I make a little topper for it because it can start to, harden, get a little crusty, you know what I mean? So you just want to keep the oxygen off it. Sealed container in the fridge. I'm pretty sure it lasts for almost forever. So make miso, have fun, cook with it. Let me know what you'd like to cook miso with, and put it in the old comments, and Bon Appétit. Yeah. Think that was good? I feel like I didn't bring enough to the table. No. I'm not disappointed in myself, Vince. Oh, what's that sound like, Vinny? Won't you be my neighbor? Wasn't that what's his name song, Mr. Rogers? But it's delicious. Use it. What?